Neil Diamond, born on January 24, 1941 in Brooklyn, New York, became one of the most beloved voices in American music. With over 130 million records sold worldwide and 17 top 10 albums, he's celebrated for classics like Sweet Caroline, songs that unite generations in joy. Yet behind the fame was a life of struggle and resilience. Born to Jewish immigrant parents during World War II, Neil learned early that survival demanded determination, grit, and an unshakable belief in the transformative power of music. His journey from Brooklyn's cold apartments to global stages is a testament to perseverance. Childhood in Brooklyn, early hardships. Neil grew up in cramped Brooklyn apartments with his younger brother Harvey under the care of Akiba and Rose Diamond. Winters were harsh, heat scarce, and the walls thin enough to hear neighbors argue. His father peddled dry goods door to door, while his mother held the household together with resilience and prayer. Life was unsteady, and love often came wrapped in silence. When Akiba was drafted during World War II, Neil and his mother relocated to Cheyenne, Wyoming, facing a new world of vast landscapes and isolation. These early hardships shaped Neil's awareness of fragility, the weight of family responsibilities, and the emotional depth that would fuel his music. Discovery of music, the cinema, and the guitar in Wyoming, Neil found refuge in the local cinema, captivated by singing cowboys like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. Their music spoke to him in ways words never could, teaching him that melodies could transform loneliness into beauty. At 15, his parents gave him a $9 guitar, chipped and out of tune, but for Neil, it was salvation. Hours spent teaching himself chords until his fingers bled built not only skill, but discipline and resilience. His first song, Hear Them Bells, was written for a school crush, marking the beginning of his understanding that music could communicate what words often could not. Return to Brighton Beach, growing awareness. And after the war, the family returned to Brighton Beach, where Neil witnessed his parents' struggles against economic pressure and aging. He became an observer, sensitive to the emotional currents around him. While other kids played stickball, Neil wrote poems and songs, attempting to turn confusion into clarity. Music became his sanctuary, a way to process emotion and connect with the world. He later reflected that his home, though challenging, was filled with love and silence, and that music became his voice when words failed. This sensitivity and emotional awareness would define his career and the heartfelt resonance of his songs. Teenage determination, music over medicine. Neil earned a fencing scholarship to New York University, intending to study pre-med, a path the world expected him to follow. Yet his mind constantly drifted toward music. He carried his guitar everywhere, sneaking away from lectures to visit Tin Pan Alley, performing for publishers who mostly rejected him. The repeated no's became fuel, building resilience and determination. By 1960, he made the pivotal choice to leave college just 10 credits shy of graduation, pursuing music full-time. This decision, difficult yet decisive, set him on a path that would forever change the landscape of American music. Early career, struggle, and persistence in Manhattan, Neil knocked on the doors of music publishers, often turned away or interrupted before finishing a verse. Yet he returned day after day, wearing the same worn jacket, carrying the same battered guitar. Each rejection hardened his resolve, reinforcing that the only path forward was the one he carved himself. His perseverance paid off, as songs eventually found audiences who recognized their authenticity. Neil's early experiences instilled a work ethic and emotional honesty that would become trademarks of his career, shaping the man who would one day sell out stadiums and connect millions through melody and lyric. Fame and personal sacrifice. Neil's music soared, yet personal cost shadowed his success. 2 marriages faltered, and his children often knew him only as a distant figure. His daughter later described birthdays without him and holidays spent waiting for a call. Neil admitted to being married to his music, leaving little time for family. He attempted to reconcile, flying children to concerts and writing songs as gestures of apology, but lost time could not be reclaimed. Even as the world celebrated his artistry, he grieved the personal relationship sacrificed. Fame brought acclaim, but also solitude, a recurring tension that shaped the depth of his lyrics and performances. Loss and reflection, the death of Rose Diamond. In 2008, Neil faced profound loss when his mother, Rose, passed away. She had been the steadfast anchor through childhood struggles, instilling faith and perseverance. Her death left a void, prompting him to cancel tour dates and retreat to Colorado. For weeks, he could not sing, admitting, "A part of me went with her." This period of grief deepened his understanding of impermanence and mortality, influencing both his music and life perspective. Even in sorrow, he found ways to honor her memory through his art, blending personal loss into songs that resonated universally with audiences worldwide. Parkinson's diagnosis: a cruel thief. In 2018, at 77, Neil was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a degenerative condition that attacked his balance, dexterity, and performance ability. The disease forced him to confront vulnerability, slowing gestures once performed with effortless precision and challenging his identity as a performer. 2 years later, he decided to retire from the stage, acknowledging the limits imposed by his body. "It was with great reluctance," he said, "but this is the hand God's given me." The diagnosis marked another chapter of struggle, highlighting the resilience required to navigate life when the body no longer obeys the mind. Life in Colorado, peace and legacy. Neil now resides in a mountainside estate in Colorado with his wife, Katie McNeil, who has supported him through the challenges of Parkinson's. The home features a studio, grand piano, and memorabilia reflecting 6 decades of music history. His 4 grown children and grandchildren often visit, filling the house with warmth and laughter. Mornings are slower now, spent walking the garden with a cane or sitting at the piano to remember melodies. Though no longer touring, his work continues to inspire through the Broadway musical A Beautiful Noise, philanthropy for Parkinson's research, and contributions to children's hospitals and veterans programs. Continuing influence. Music is immortality. Neil Diamond's songs remain woven into America's cultural fabric. Despite physical limitations, he continues to create, hum, and perform privately, using music to maintain a sense of identity and connection. His story illustrates that artistry is not solely about fame or fortune, but about perseverance, authenticity, and the courage to express emotion. While he may no longer command stadiums, his music still evokes joy, nostalgia, and emotional healing, carrying the essence of a man who turned personal struggle into art. Neil's legacy is proof that music can immortalize the human spirit. Conclusion: a life of bravery and music. Neil Diamond's life is more than a chronicle of hits and records. It is a testament to resilience, sacrifice, and love. From Brooklyn apartments to sold-out arenas, from childhood hardship to global acclaim, he has transformed suffering into art that comforts millions. His journey through personal loss, family distance, and Parkinson's disease highlights a man who embraced vulnerability while remaining defiant in spirit. Today, he lives with peace and reflection, surrounded by family and music. His story reminds us that the bravest act is not simply to perform, but to endure, to create, and to keep the music alive against all odds.